Ah. Hey, ladies, and a few gentlemen who are tuning in. Welcome to the Love and Success Summit. I am so happy that you're here, and today I have the wonderful opportunity to interview my sis from another miss, Felecia Hatcher Pearson. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Felecia Hatcher. Oh, my goodness, I have to get out the official bio because I don't want to mess her up. Okay, so Felecia is an author, social entrepreneur, the chief popsicle of feverish ice cream and gourmet pops. For the past decade, Felecia has dedicated her life to inspiring a new generation of leaders through her conversational talks on entrepreneurship, tech innovation, college funding, and personal branding. A globally sought after speaker, Hatcher has been honored by the White House, as one of the Impact Top 100 top 100 entrepreneurs under 30 in 2011, and honored as a 2014 White House champion of STEM, of change for STEM access and diversity. She's been featured in TEDx Miami, TEDx Jamaica. She's been in Griot 100 African Americans Making History, Inc. magazine, Wall Street Journal, Japan, Forbes Travel, Entrepreneur, Essence magazine, and Black Enterprise. And believe me, there's a whole lot more that isn't in her bio. So I'm going to let you know we are so very excited to have you here, Felecia. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Coach Cass, for having me.
I'm so happy, girl. So just so you know, I bamboozled you to be here today. So I'm so happy that you decided to spend some time with me. But, the Love and Success Summit really came from, I've been dealing with so many successful women. And, there's this delicate dance that often has to happen. It's like you got to be the pit bull in the boardroom, and suddenly you got to be the sexy diva at night, turning all that pit ball off and coming in and being the sexiest thing you've ever seen. And then you have to be the sweet, sweet mommy for your sweet, sweet baby. So I really created this Love and Success Summit to highlight women who are doing the dance, but sometimes it messes up, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but I just want to have some real conversation of some business tips for the ladies out there that are in business, want to succeed, but then also, how do you do the marriage thing? How do you do relationships? How do you do the mommy thing, the daughter thing? How do you do it? So I just want this to be a really open conversation between us, and then at the end, of course, you could tell them where they could get that free giveaway, of course. So you ready?
Yes, absolutely.
Yay! So family, just so you know, I've known Felecia for over a decade, and she really is a sister to me. So I'm just so happy to have her here. So tell us, my dear. I know you started a business. There's some women who are tuning in who are thinking of starting a business.
Yeah.
So how did you even get the cojones, right? To step out into a popsicle business, of all things, because I feel like so many people are easy. It's easy to do lifestyle, brands and videos and coaching, but to do a popsicle business, like what even made you step out to start a business like that?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm so honored to be a part of this and have been able to watch you grow over the 10 plus years that we've known each other. So this is phenomenal, and I love this topic. So hopefully I can share a lot of gems with you and your audience today just about my experience. But there's a few things that kind of went into play into me starting a business. One, the very honest thing is I was a horrible employee. Right? And I've been a horrible employee to a lot of companies. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that I was stealing toilet paper and coffee machine and money and like all that stuff. But I just quickly started to realize, there's a cycle that kept repeating for every company that I worked for. And I finally figured out, I'm the common denominator, and the fact that, one, I wasn't happy, and two, a lot of the compromises that I had to do for working for another company just wasn't really sitting well with me. And I finally had to get to a point where I started realizing, all right, I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do at the time, but I had a long list of things that I didn't want to do. And a lot of those things fell in line with the companies that I was working for. So that was kind of realizing that was step number one. Step number two, when in relation to starting Feverish, I fell down chasing after an ice cream truck in heels, about 9 years ago now. So that was my Oprah aha moment to one saying, one, I'm way too old to chase after an ice cream truck. And two, why hasn't anyone come up with like a cooler way for adults to enjoy ice cream? And I came up with all this while I'm on the ground. So I was on the ground for a pretty long time. But so that was my, those were really my two things that were that first, like, what am I doing? Like, why am I here? Why do I keep doing this? I'm not happy. It's not necessarily healthy for me. I got to make a change. And that's, I can go on and on and on about the different decisions and the stories, but those are really the two big things that stuck out to me as to why I needed to make a change and why I got started.
Oh, that's powerful. So for those of you who are listening or watching right now, I hope you have your pen and pad out and specifically asking yourself, are you happy with where you are? And if you're not, what are you going to do about it? Like, that's really what I'm hearing. You did something about it, because there's so many unhappy people that go to work every day. They're that common denominator, and they keep doing this division that's not working out. It's like you are failing and it's not happening, right? But failure is not always a bad thing.
No,
right?
It's not.
So tell us a little bit of your failure story.
Oh, I have plenty of failure stories. One, the biggest thing is you're not a tree, right? So at any time you can get up and move. Like, you do not have to be there. You literally have to make the decision and say, I don't want to do this shit anymore. Like, that's it. And so when you talk about failure, so failure is really funny. Failure and success is really funny. And I think too often what happens to us and what trips us up the most is that we are looking at what society has deemed as success and what society has deemed as failure. And I think what each and every one of us needs to do is individualize what success and failure means to you. And so for me, one of the biggest key factors for success is freedom for me, like absolute freedom. And so that has really been rooted around every single thing that I have done. And then the financial reward had started to pay off as well. But the freedom of being able to make my own decisions, being able to be in full control of my time, because I worked for some really amazing companies. I worked for the NBA, I worked for Nintendo, I worked for Sony, I even worked for McKee Foods that owns Little Debbie snack cakes, right? And I had very awesome jobs that paid very well, but I was not in control of my time at all. The flip side of success is also failure, and being able to understand what that is, understand that that is not permanent, and that it's a part of the process, and you absolutely have to trust the process. You are going to fail. That's one thing that I can promise you. Every one of us do it. Every one of us has done it, and we do it on an ongoing basis, right? And so what I've learned from all my failure is the biggest thing is I have learned. They have been stepping stones for me, and I'm very honest about my failure. I've started a business and I've gone broke. I've started a business and lost a client and didn't know how I was going to make payroll. There's so many different things that have happened along the way, and I've wanted to quit, and I didn't quit. But there's a ton of times that I've come very close, and then I was just like, there's this like little message in the back of your head or in your heart or somewhere, but it kind of, right, it comes up and it's just like, yo, Felecia, just keep going and it's going to get better. Not always understanding what is on the other side of that, but every time I've wanted to give up and literally have like closed shop and say, I'm done with this, like magic has happened when I kept going. So individualize success and failure and really define what both of those mean for you.
Strong. You got to define it for yourself, and you can't worry about what your parents think.
Not at all.
Family, cousins, co-workers. It's what you want and what you need in this space. That's strong.
Yeah.
I love the quote that goes, if you're not dead, you're not done.
Right.
So at the end of the day, if you're going to wake up tomorrow, you might as well be doing something that you love. So do you subscribe to the whole, do what you love and the money will follow? Like, does little paper trail, like the money fall from the sky? Like, do you believe in that? What's your belief about that?
Yo, Coach Cass. So when I first started, and you would hear all those mantras, right? Like, I think, for me, I was like a slave to like the motivational mantras and quotes and all that good stuff. And I got to a point really within the first year, and I was just like, man, all these people are like, just do what you love and the money will follow, or do what you love and you'll never feel like you're working a day in your life. And I was like, oh, this is BS. Like starting a business is really hard work, and the money doesn't always come when you think it's supposed to come. But at the same time, following your passion, you can't take passion to the bank, right? They won't cash that check. Like, I've probably tried to take passion to the bank quite a few times, and they were just like, yeah, no, it's not happening. But what I realized where passion really comes into play is, in those dark days, like I just talked about, when you want to give up and you think that, all the cards are stacked against you and you feel like life has just punched you in the gut and it's that voice that just says, keep going. That's the magic. That's the power. That's right there. And that's the lessons that I've had to learn over and over again. So what I can tell you is the money does come. And what I can tell you is, if you are truly living your passion and living your purpose, then it does not feel like work. Will it be easy? Absolutely not. But anything worth chasing is going to be hard work. It's going to test you. It's probably going to break you. But what I understand is that what's even harder work is doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. It's staying in a position longer than you're supposed to stay and like dreading to wake up every single day, or, that job, or even sometimes your business, and not like it's maybe not be the right business for you because you didn't dig a niche deep enough for you to really be able to get the rewards out of it. So that's, for me, that's what I have realized. It's like I work longer and harder than I've ever done with any company I've ever worked for, but I wake up every day like excited and ready to grind. And I couldn't say that for some of the other companies and some of the other projects that I've worked on either.
Okay, so that just struck a nerve with me because, I've been coaching for over a decade, but there came a point in my business where literally I hated getting on the phone with some of my clients. Like, oh, here we go again. It's like, and I really had to come to that aha moment, that come to Jesus moment, where I had to literally stop and say, you know what, I'm finishing out this program, but I'm ending it. And even though I don't know what the next step is in my business, I need to clear this space to figure out what it is that really serves me and how I can really serve people in an amazing way. And that's how my love coaching arm was really birthed. And now, I get so excited because, here were some of the things that came up in my mind. Nobody's going to pay for that. Who am I to say these things? Like all these excuses and the am I enough came up. And it really took over a decade for me to say, look, it's okay. You this. You've done the work. You've done the research. You have the degrees. You have the certifications. You got this. And sometimes it's like we just need to give ourselves the permission, because you keep looking left and right for permission from someone else. You'll be sitting there forever, right? So that's really, really how I started with the love coaching of Inspire Many. And from this, I've been able to make amazing money and be able to help so many women and have some fun while doing it, especially like with a summit like this. So yes.
You know what? It reminds me, I just recently wrote an article about talking about the imposter mindset. And it usually happens, most successful women suffer from the imposter mindset. And the definition is pretty simple, right? So good old Wikipedia talks about the fact that we can't and we don't internalize our success, right? Because we are constantly looking for other people's validation instead of our own. So we have the degrees, you have, the nice car, all that stuff, but you also have the success. Like you've accomplished X, Y, and Z, but internally you constantly doubt yourself. You can't own the fact that you've garnered those things and achieved those things from the work that you've done. And mostly because we feel like certain things need to stack up before we can be like, we can own it like Kanye West kind of own it, right? But it took me a while to realize like that was what was going on. Like I would be in a room and knowing that I'm probably the most qualified person in the room, but for whatever reason, I still felt small, and felt uncomfortable. And so kind of figuring out what that underlining thing was. And it was just like, Felecia, like, you got this. And you constantly have to remind yourself, like, and it's so funny because I think you had said that to me at one point. I don't know what you were doing, and you were like coming up with something. You're like, oh, you got this. And I'm like, yes. So it became something that I constantly remind myself, like when I find myself in a situation where I'm questioning if I should be there. And I'm just like, no, you got this, so you kind of need to remind yourself of that all the time, that every night that you stayed up and didn't go to sleep and had to go to work the next day because you were working on your hustle, every meal that you missed, every happy hour that you declined because you needed to save that money to buy more material so that you can, exhibit your fashion line at whatever. Like every single sacrifice led you to the opportunities that now you have. So you got to own it. You got to accept it. And you got to understand that you deserve to be there, boo. Like you absolutely deserve to be there. And you deserve every single good thing that is coming for you, because it's not that you had just been working on it from the day that you started your business. You've been working on that for your entire life. And like, that's the things that we really have to remember.
Like, I'm here to stay, and no one can move me unless I move.
Right, exactly.
Hey, and the "You Got This" is on the affirmation card.
Nice.
It is nice. One of the affirmations. Just in case you guys didn't know, inspiremany.com/affirmation cards. You can get wonderful affirmation cards to remind you how. All right, so what else did I have for you? Okay, so the woman who's in business, she's a solopreneur looking to expand.
Mm.
Like, how the heck do you really start to build a staff, a team?
Right.
I understand that you can make good money by yourself, but then you feel burnt out. You have to do every little thing. So it's like, I know that it's hard to master the craft of building a team, but what tips have you found doesn't work? If you have something good or you have something bad, either way, whatever you get, we want to hear it. What you got?
Yeah, so what doesn't work is trying to do everything your damn self. Like, it doesn't work, and you will definitely die a slow death of misery. Like, I can tell you that from experience. So I'm a bit of control freak because I'm very creative, and I can do a lot of things very well, which is good and is also bad, because I, in the very beginning, wasn't putting the processes in place so that I could scale and essentially duplicate myself. So I would constantly run around and be like, I need 5 clones and I haven't invented that yet, and I started to, I'm a technology freak, right? So one of the biggest things for me is using technology in order to expand and essentially duplicate myself, but more importantly, just streamline what I'm doing, right? So Fancy Hands, that I absolutely love, and it's a essentially virtual assistants on demand. And I use that in addition to the virtual assistants that I use through Elance, which I think is called Upwork now. Having a good pool of people locally that you can tap into, even if it's just bartering services and it's like an IOU, you got me in this area, but I can help you out in this area. That really helps a lot, especially if you're trying to do things on a budget. But then I think the most important thing is putting together a scalability plan from the very beginning. Not waiting until you're like overwhelmed and pulling your hair out and drinking wine every night. It's like doing it from the very beginning. And it was some of the best advice that I got from a friend of mine, was like, from the very beginning, you need to figure out if you are planning to keep your business and your family for generations, or you planning to sell it. You make that decision from the beginning. Not saying that it won't change, but make that decision while you're sitting there writing that business plan. And then from there, from moving forward, you run your business as you are planning to sell it. So you keep it, by doing that, you are constantly in the mindset of putting systems into place so that your business can grow and can survive without you. That's the biggest thing. The other thing I think is, I think too often we wait too late to start scaling. Technology allows us to be in multiple places at the same time. And being able to go to different markets and kind of test out your idea, it's easier to do that than ever before. If you want to set up an event and just kind of go out there and see what's going, well, find a time when Spirit Airlines or whoever else is running deals, and just go out there and go do it. If you fail, you fail, and that's it. But there's no way, I think, there's very few ways that you can just like sit in front of your computer and kind of test out your idea, especially if you have a consumer product. You got to be out there. You got to have boots on the ground.
Man, I hope you guys wrote all of that down. Fancy Hands to Upwork. I also sometimes use Craigslist. That's a longer.
I use Craigslist as well.
Yeah, all great to be able to see things. But then also, having some of those contracts in place
Mm-hmm.
that if people don't hold up to their end of the bargain, like the deal is done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not so much just verbiage. I've found to bite me in the butt when I don't have things in writing
Uh-huh.
sometimes. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
one of the
I'm
things
on
that
it with contracts. You know, one of the funniest things is I was telling a client of mine, I was like, in 7 years of running Feverish Pops, I've only had to chase down 4 people for money.
oh
And
wow.
I've worked with, you know, Airbnb, Forever 21, Cadillac, PayPal, like big corporations, and it's only been 4 times. And those
Wow.
4 times that I've had to chase someone for money is because I didn't send the paperwork to them when I said I was going to do it. So I was just like, oh, they'll pay afterwards. And then I ended up having to chase people 4 times amongst like hundreds of thousands
That's
of
good
clients.
because I know
So
small business owners right now chasing everybody for money.
no, no, you got to put system. You got to be paid at least a deposit up front. You know,
Mm-hmm.
50% for is my thing. Nothing less than
Yes.
50% up front in order for me to do what I have to do because people are accustomed to doing that in other areas. You know,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're providing a customized product, which is a lot of what we do. If it's customized, it's 100% up front because then we can't turn around and sell that to any other customer.
Right.
So, you know, as long as you set the terms and it's easy for people to digest and remind them that they have to do it in other industries and also be comfortable walking away from a relationship if it just doesn't work. You know, not every client is a good client. Some of them will just, you know, I don't have no hair, so that will pull your hair out because you're what you're doing is you're crossing lines that you've probably told yourself that you would not cross. And we start to run into issues when we start crossing the line that we put in the sand that we would not cross.
Right. Okay. Okay. So this is good. Now we
Mm-hmm.
need to get into the family
Yeah.
stuff. Okay. We've been talking a lot of business, and these ladies want to know about love.
Okay.
So here it is. You've been able to make over 6 figures in your
Yeah.
business. You have a boo. You've been married for many years. You have a
Mm-hmm.
small daughter. So it's like running a successful business and maintaining a strong marriage
Mm-hmm.
takes a lot of time.
It
So
does.
how do you manage both, and how do you prioritize your time with your spouse, with your daughter? Like, how does that look? How does that work?
Yeah, so I would love to say I'm an expert in it, but I'm not. And I think, you know, where I am right now probably provides people with some real information because I'm still, to a certain extent, trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
You know, I've been married for 6 years to an awesome, awesome husband. And my daughter will be 2 next month. So, like, you know, in the very beginning, it was extremely hard trying to, like, move things around and reschedule things. And my daughter was also born premature. So for the first year, she was really sick. And so it was a lot of a lot of apologizing in the very beginning, a lot of canceling meetings, you know, a lot of not making things. And so I had to finally create a line that I would not cross and kind of like and so it became my thing for me was like I would not put anything before my daughter. And when I finally got to that realization and kind of made that like promise to myself and promise to her, it actually helped me start prioritizing things much better because I was constantly trying to juggle this, juggle that, like be at 2 places at one time. So it became like, all right, I know that whatever's going on with my daughter, I have to be in that moment. Everything else can be rescheduled. It can go from a physical meeting to a Skype meeting. You know, I can send that email another day. Like, I don't know if I'm making sense, but I had to set that line. And so once I did that from a sanity standpoint, it just helped me control and me manage things much better. The other side of it.
One second. One second. You're making a whole lot of noise. You're making a whole lot of noise. Okay, you're making a whole lot of noise.
Your studio time is up, girl.
Plastic bags. You know what I mean? Okay. Yes, dear.
Yeah. What was I saying?
Prioritize your daughter.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing was just using my husband more. You know, like I think I felt like I had to be super mom and super woman and, you know, based on what my mom did and my grandmother did, like I'm supposed to do all this stuff, you know? I'm just like, no, I'm not. Like I got a partner for a reason. And then also just using my circle too, you know? So I can't imagine where I would be or what I would do if I didn't have my mom and my dad to be able to help me out. Even my brother, right? And he has two daughters on his own. But so one, having that circle to help me out, and then two, just letting go of the control, letting go, and then trusting people more. But I think more importantly, defining what motherhood is for you. That was really big. And so my husband, he talks at events, and no one ever asked him about work-life balance. They always ask me. And my husband is actually with my daughter more than I am because of just the nature of my business and my projects. It pulls more of my time than it pulls his. So being okay with that was another thing. Because I know in the very beginning, I was really depressed, like, I can't be a stay-at-home mom. Like, this is not gonna work for me. Like, it's driving me crazy. Like, I need to be out. And I internalized that for so long, and I was so depressed. And then I finally had to sit down with my husband. I was just like, you know what? I can't do this stay-at-home mom thing. Like, can we switch roles? And he was just like, sure. And I was like, really? Because I've been stressed out about this for like 2 months. And he was just like, sure. And when we made that switch, like, things just got much better for me, all the way around, of just kind of being able to do these things, and kind of switching what we think is the traditional role a little bit.
Right. So being able to define for your family what works for you.
Right.
Who has the strengths, who has the weaknesses, and being able to play into that, just like you would in business.
Right.
But now also doing it at home.
Absolutely.
Right? So we want to start a business, and we do it individualized. We set up the plan. We work on strengths and weaknesses. But somehow in relationships, we're like, well, this is what the world has to say.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the way we're supposed to do it. It's like, we're supposed to do it the same way. Just like you would in your business.
Yeah.
You do it in your love life. Like, hey, you're good at this, so do it.
Right. Exactly. Oh, exactly.
So, okay, so the mommy thing is working out. So what's the daddy mommy time?
Oh, man. It's still going. It's interesting because it's so funny trying to maneuver that when you got like a 2-year-old. I think before she could walk, it was like really good and really cool, But once she could walk and she like busts into any room and she can open doors now, it changes things. Like now you kind of have to like schedule things, or like, when she's taking like a 10-minute nap and stuff like that. So it has changed a lot, and I think for us is just one, keeping a sense of humor about it. And I think on the flip side of it, it kind of gets you like that level of what is the word? I don't know. Back like when you were like in your teens and 20s, and you're like trying to sneak around with around your parents. It's like become that same thing when sneaking around with your kids. So it's fun. So we have a sense of humor about it for one, so there's a little sense of adventure in it for two, but then also just kind of checking in on each other, and just saying, babe, are you okay? Like, do you need anything? What's going on? Kind of keeping up like that element of surprise. But I think for me, and well, really for us, we had to realize that there was a change that was happening, because I think at one point we just didn't realize it, and there was like this tension. And then two, I think just doing it with having a little bit more intention and planning things for us to do, and planning those little escapes. And when someone says like, hey, one of my parents would say like, hey, we'll watch Ori so you can go out, and not be like, oh, no, it's okay. No, let's go out. Let's take this time for us. Even if we literally just go walk around the grocery store together, like take the time for us has become extremely important, especially because it's not only a child involved, both of us own the businesses together. So we have to have that time together, and then also, set time so that we can have our own separate lives as well.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So you got to have some alone time. You got to have some fun time. You gotta have some baby time.
Yes.
Family time. But all the time.
Right.
It's a good time.
Absolutely.
Oh man, Felecia, I've thoroughly enjoyed this interview.
Likewise.
So please tell them how they get in touch with you, and then also how they get this free giveaway.
Yes. So I keep it easy for you because it's easy for me. It's literally at Felecia Hatcher on everything. So all social media platforms, and my website is FeleciaHatcher.com. I'm all about helping people follow their most epic dreams. And I have a really cool free download that is exclusively for the people that are going to be tuning in to this webinar. I'm super excited about this. I can't wait to, one, watch the rest of them because you have a really awesome lineup. But going back to talking about the imposter mindset, I think one of the biggest things for people is, reminding yourself of all the epic stuff that you've accomplished over your years. So when you do have those days that you're feeling really down, you have something that's a reminder of like, no, I've done like X, Y, and Z, and it's a few pages long. Like I'm good, I'm cool, I got this. So my free download for you, specifically for the students that are part of this seminar, is go to my website, FeliciaHatcher.com/free downloads, and I have a my epic shit list that you can download, fill it out with all your epicness, put it on your mirror, your cubicle, wherever you need that reminder when you're feeling down or when you're being questioned about your credibility and your epicness, that you have it as a reminder of that you're on the right track and you're grinding harder than ever before and the rewards are coming. You just got to keep going.
I love it. Oh my goodness. I printed out mine, guys. I can tell you I have that sucker up. I'm always adding to it. I'm like, yes, I'm epic. I so appreciate you. Oh my goodness. So we need to make a beach date a fun date.
We do.
Just so I could jiggle Ori around. That's so cute. And she dances.
All the time she dances.
Oh my goodness. So ladies and the few gentlemen who are tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in to the Love and Success Summit. Don't delay. There is another speaker up next, but I'll let you know that, these videos are only available for 24 hours. So make sure that you upgrade to VIP so you can keep this in your library forever.
Yes.
Hello? You got to be able to replay these things because oftentimes we watch something one time and it goes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was that tip again? And here it is. You have someone who's been featured in the White House by so many publications, been on so many TV shows, even the Today Show. Hello? She's been all over the world traveling just to inspire people like you to do amazing things. So I just want to say thank you again, Felecia, for giving us your time, for being here today, and I hope you all have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.